When this releases, it will be day 28. It will be my final day of the series. This episode will probably have a filter on it because it is so dark right now. However, it is like 80 degrees outside. This is why people live in the great state of Texas for this temperature. It feels absolutely amazing outside. However, the sun is so bright that I could not find a good place to record. So I am going to have to put a filter on this to make it look good. However, this is day 28. I have successfully finished all of my recordings for this month. My consistency paid off. I feel proud. I learned some things. I challenged myself. I did some things. Am I sad this is coming to an end? Not really, because recording every day is actually really hard for me. This is also pretty early in the morning compared to when I usually record. So if my energy is low, that is why. However, the great news is the topic today, I kind of tricked my analytics to this topic because I knew if I talked about Texas and if I threw that little crumble out there, something was going to pop back up and to allow me to talk about them further. And here we are. We have a Texas football versus Ohio State preview, and that it couldn't be much better for my final episode. So before I get started, if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. I'm trying to get to 2,000 subscribers. I'm also trying to get to 5 to 7 members. So if you're interested in becoming a member, now is an amazing time to become a member. It is also very nice outside. So you're going to hear all kinds of noises, construction, people, mowing their dead grass and all those different things. This area should look familiar to some of you. And if it doesn't, then you haven't watched all my episodes and that is a you problem. So before I get into this, there's a couple things I want to say is we all know before the season, I will have a very polished, very organized, very structured preview for Texas versus Ohio State. But right now, I am just going to go off of what I think because this February challenge, this last video, is all about me just hitting record and talking. I think the hardest thing about having a YouTube channel is feeling inadequate and feeling like you don't have things to say. So in 28 days, I have proved to myself that it is not about me planning the videos. It is not about me making sure that I say all the right things. It is about me having confidence to just hit record and to upload. And so that is what this has taught me. So if you're needing that extra little piece of like whatever today, that is your piece of advice to just get up, make it happen, do the thing. Who cares what everybody else has to say about it? Do the thing that makes you feel good. So there's that. The other thing is I did not check to make sure that I am talking to the mic. I am. Okay. So let's see. Texas versus Ohio State. I will say I like that Texas has these games early in the season. I think we did it 2 years or 3 years ago versus Alabama. We did it then we had an away and a home with Alabama. And then we played Michigan last year. And then this year we're going to play Ohio State. And then I think next year we play Ohio State. And then I think we have a Michigan. And then I think we have a Notre Dame. I love that Texas adds these games early in the schedule because I like to see what my team has. It is a perfect opportunity to know that you are going to be able to experience your team and see what your team can do and see your limitations and things like that. So I am super excited about this Texas-Ohio State game. I think it's going to be a very good game. I think that we've lost a lot of people. Obviously, they're right now at the combine, like doing that. But also the people that we didn't lose that are not at the combine, we still lost a lot of starters and we still lost a lot of production on Texas's team. But the good news is so did Ohio State. I think Ohio State has the most people going to the NFL combine. And I believe Ohio State has lost like 15 or 16 people. Texas has lost, I believe, 13 starters. I think Ohio State has lost like 16, 17 starters. And I think Texas has lost 13, 14 or something like that. So we're about even as far as, people leaving and leaving the team, starters leaving the team. The one thing I will say that I'm really excited to see is this Texas defensive line. I think next year the Texas defensive line should be the strength of their team because I think it's going to be the most senior part of their team, which is great. You all know how I feel about the trenches. You all know how I feel about winning the battle of the trenches. And I think that Texas should be able to win the defensive battle at the trenches. Now, here's where it gets tricky. The Texas offensive line, I don't know what we're going to get from it. I just don't know what we're going to get from it. And so there's that. The other thing I really like about this, though, is that I feel like as a fan, I get to be excited for week one, not just like week one of football, but I get to get excited and kind of go, okay, where are we at? Where are we at? What do we look like? What is the hangover from last year? Because I like Sark having these tough games in week 1 or 2 because all offseason, he is going to focus on this game. And I think Sark is really good when he can game plan, and I think he's really good when he can break things down. We've gotten some new coaches in also, so it basically puts everybody in the fire right now because My throat is getting a little weird, but you know who you're going to match up with. You know who you're going to play week 1. So there's no time to kind of lollygag around and whatever. Like, the time is now. Week 1 is coming. You have a hard game week 1. So I'm excited to see what this coaching staff has to put together. So that's going to be exciting. The other thing I think is going to be exciting, you know what I just realized, is that I have officially made it 6 weeks without having braids in my hair. And I am so proud of myself. I'm off on a tangent. I needed to take at least 6 weeks. Really, I wanted to see if I could stretch it to like 10 or 12 weeks, which obviously 12 weeks is 3 months, and see if I could like let my hair breathe and not get any braids. And so I just want to like officially say how proud I am of myself for being able to sustain that. And there's a little cold chill that's happening. So let's hope that goes away and the sun continues to shine bright. But anyways, so Coach Sark, I like that. So if I was going to make this video as if I make my videos during the season, this is what I would do. So usually when I make my videos during the season, there's an airplane, just in case you're wondering. It's actually, anyways, I'm not going to talk about what it is, but it's actually not a normal airplane. So there's that. If I was going to make this video, like I would make this video during the season, what I do during the season is I think of 3 things that I'm going to be watching for. And so the 3 things for me, I think should be easy. So the first thing I'm going to be looking for, if I'm doing a real preview, first thing I'm going to be looking for is the battle of the trenches. So I want to see Texas's defensive line go against Ohio State's offensive line. And maybe most importantly, and maybe actually, honestly, is going to be the impact of Texas's season is going to be Texas's offensive line against anybody's defensive line. But because this is Ohio State, I'm going to say Ohio State's defensive line. Reason being is because Texas lost 4 starters on their offensive line. The most filter through position for the University of Texas is that offensive line. And so we're going to be starting one guy that has been a starter, one guy in Trevor Gooseby that has come back, that started some games last year, and then some other guys that had a lot of playing time last year, but obviously they were not the starters, because we hopefully have guys that are going to the NFL that are going to get drafted pretty high in those roles. So I'm very interested to see who our center is, very interested to see who our right tackle is going to be, and so I'm very interested to see what this offensive line is going to be. I think this is the opportunity for Texas coaches to show up and show out when it comes to how they're going to coach this offensive line. So there is that. So the first thing I'm going to be looking at is the battle of the trenches. So that is number 1. Second thing I'm going to be looking at, should come as no surprise to anybody, is going to be Arch Manning. What does Arch Manning look like? Arch Manning had 2 starts this year. I think both of them were at home. So there's that. So this is going to be Arch Manning's first on the road start. So there's that. The cool thing about this game, though, is Arch Manning got to play some snaps against Texas A&M. Arch Manning got to play some snaps against Ohio State in the playoff game. And so he has been able to hear some crowd noise. And so he's been able to be in like enemy territory. So I'm very curious to see how Manning performs. I mean, let's be honest, this whole ball game is predicated, not this whole ball game, but really this whole season is predicated off of a couple of things. Arch Manning, how he's going to be a quarterback. Is he going to be better than yours? And this offensive line, because it's new. Last year, in my opinion, the offensive line was fine. I quite frankly think they underachieved in big games. But listen, with a different quarterback and with having Arch, like, let's see what Arch can do. If Arch goes up to Ohio State and beats Ohio State pretty handedly, the college football world is going to go crazy. like if Arch Manning goes into Ohio State and beats Ohio State really handedly, we all know that we are in for even more Arch Mania than our hearts could have ever imagined. So there's that. The other thing I'll say, because when I do this, I need to have 3 things. Okay, so what do I have? So I have the trenches, the battle of the trenches. I have Arch Manning is going to be something that I'm going to be worried about. And you know what? The thing number 3 I'm going to be paying attention to is going to be Texas's ability to run the ball. I think this year, what I learned from last year is that Texas really needs to step it up when it comes to their running back position. Obviously, we all are aware that CJ Baxter got hurt, and so that impacted our running back room. However, when you have those kind of injuries and things that happen, it really comes down to coaching and what talent you've gotten in to back up the guys. I'm not saying anybody will ever be CJ Baxter. CJ Baxter might, just be who he is, and nobody else might not be able to be him, which is okay. However, who is next? Who's the next guy up? What's the next guy going to do? And so I am going to be paying very attention to, it's so funny that last year when I made these videos at the beginning of the season, the preview videos, I was so worried about the defense. I was like, what is this defensive line going to do? What is this defense going to do? Is this defense going to be able to, what does our defense look like? Is our secondary going to be good? Is our defensive line going to be look good? What are our linebackers going to do? This year, it seems like I'm worried about the offense. So I'm wondering if that's going to flip midseason, because literally towards midseason last year, I was like, okay, the defense is going to do what the defense is going to do. Now, what is this offense going to do? Like, this offense can't be a liability. Come to find out, the offense was a liability. So there's that. So anyways, it's just interesting now that obviously we're in February. Obviously, the game is not happening tomorrow. But if I was to make a preview video today about the Texas Longhorns versus Ohio State, what I would say the three things that I would focus on is going to be the trenches, battle of the trenches, specifically Texas's offensive line versus Ohio State's defensive line. Arch Manning, what is he going to look like? How are things going to look? And then number three would be our run game. Are we going to have a run game? Are we going to run the ball? What is that going to look like? What are we going to do? How is that going to be? And so those are the things that I would think about. And if I had to pick a team, listen, I don't think I ever picked against Texas last year. And the funny part about never picking against Texas last year is I was right more than I was wrong. So there is that. And so, yeah, if I had to preview Texas Ohio State right now, this is how I would preview this game. Now, obviously, it is February. This is all for fun. I have not researched anything. But I don't think this is going to change much, because why would it change much? This is literally the foundations of the game. So there is that. So this concludes my February challenge, where I am unediting, just hitting record, talking to the camera, and just talking and seeing what comes out and seeing what happens. The absolute funnest thing about this has been really just challenging myself and really doing something that I honestly thought was crazy when I had this idea. Just like a lot of other things I do on my YouTube channel, I'm always like, why am I going to do this? Like, who said this was a good idea? And then I do it, and then it turns out to be really fun and really innovative and different. And I really love that for me, and I love that for my channel. So if you have followed along with me through February, thank you. I appreciate you so much. I will tell you that my March content has already been recorded. Everything that we'll be releasing in March has 100% already been recorded. And so I will just leave it at that. There's a cool series coming in the middle of March that I'm very excited about. And then I have my Colorado content before the spring starts. I have my Steelers video before free agency starts. You're about to hear a FedEx truck come, or a UPS truck. I don't know what kind of truck it is, but the fact that I know that that's what it is kind of funny to me. It is actually a FedEx truck, so there's that. So yes, you're going to get your Steelers, you're going to get your Colorado, you're going to get Texas, of course, and then you're going to get another video, and then you're going to get the series that I'm super proud of. And for those of you, before you ask me, or before you, just in case you're wondering, I am going to do something with the NFL draft, so don't you worry, that is coming as well. But I'm super proud of myself today. I'm super proud of myself that I accomplished this. And if you take nothing from anything that I do on YouTube, just know that everything I do on YouTube started with a little bit of self-doubt. Every idea I've had, every video I've created, everything that I do on YouTube, don't pay attention to how confident I look. Don't pay attention to all the things you think you know about me. Just know that it came with a little bit of hesitation, a little bit of self-doubt, a little bit of should I do this, a little bit of oh my gosh. And that is why whenever I release something, whenever I put something out, I don't care who agrees or disagrees with me. I'm always proud of me for taking the step, for making the effort, and for doing the thing. So I just wanted to say that, because I know a lot of people are like, this is so natural to you. This is so natural to you. Trust me, I have my moments of self-doubt. I have my moments of like, why am I doing this? And it just makes it all the better to talk about sports. And let's be honest, I like to trigger people, and I like to shake the table a little bit. And I like that when I talk about football, there are some people who cannot stand a woman dare talk about football. And that just keeps me motivated to keep talking about football. So here I am talking about football. I've also figured out the channel direction through this February challenge. And so that has been cool to kind of be like, all right, this is my lane. I'm staying in my lane. I'm doing this thing. This is what I want to do. And so that has been great. So I am going to end this February challenge here. If you haven't already, make sure that you are subscribed to my channel. Turn on those notification bells. If you're interested in joining my membership, I will put all of that information in the comment section below. But honestly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for just watching. And I started my YouTube channel, and I would usually only get 1 views or 2 views or 3 views. Anytime on a video I get more than 2 or 3 views, it does something to my soul. And one day I will look back at this video and I will go, you know what? It's nice to have started there, because now I appreciate exactly where I'm at, and I appreciate the grind. I appreciate the process. And I appreciate all of you for being here. So don't forget to hit that like button. Leave me a comment section. Leave me a comment section below. Leave me a comment in the comment section below. But honestly, just keep doing the thing. Keep doing the thing that sets your soul on fire. Keep doing the thing that you want to do. And also hook 'em. I forgot to say that at the beginning of this. But yeah, I'm going to end this video. Thank you so much for watching.